Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Saturday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I'm going to be doing a book review about a UK TV broadcaster called Melanie Skyes. She released a book a couple of years ago about her autism and her life called Illuminated, and I've actually photocopied the first couple of 3 pages because there's things that are relevant to me with regards to being an autistic woman I thought would be good to talk about. And so I'm going to get into it. The first bit is the introduction page where she talks about imposter syndrome, and I've written a couple of paragraphs here about it, and I'll actually read off the bit where what she says about it. She says, "I believe in destiny and I believe in timing. For years people have asked me, when will you write your book? In my late 30s I just laughed it off. Too young, I thought. What have I got to share anyway? My imposter syndrome would chime. Not now, not possibly, not ever," was her response. So basically she talks about not being good enough, not being worthy enough to write this book, to put the book together. And I think for a lot of autistic women like ourselves, especially with Melanie being later diagnosed than me, I was late diagnosed at the age of 25, I'm now nearly 37. So I know she was diagnosed at 51, so she was diagnosed much more later on in life than I was. So I've been very lucky with supports and the support network I've got. But obviously she's had a more later in life and kind of the questions and the searching and everything else. And imposter syndrome plays a big part for women in particular and girls with autism. Because when we're autistic, a lot of people often will say to us, "Oh, well, you don't appear autistic, or you can't be autistic because you function so well, you talk well, and you know, you look good and you dress well." And that's not the point. Imposter syndrome is such a big part of who we are because people don't often believe us, or they think we're too clever, or they think we're too functional, or they think we're too great to be autistic because autism only affects men and boys, which is absolute horrid and absolute inaccurate in any shape or size of the statement. So yeah, that was the first bit that I wanted to talk about. And then the second bit is in her diagnosis chapter, which I believe is chapter 2 if I'm not mistaken. And she says, "It was thrashing out ideas about the future of my magazine, the Frank magazine, with a colleague when my phone pinged. Interestingly, the conversation. It was the clinic with my results of my autism assessment. It stopped me dead in my tracks, and I told my colleague I just needed a minute to look at it. There was no way I could continue our conversation until I'd read it. Since she was talking to an autism advocate by the name of Harry Thompson, had suggested I should seek a diagnosis a month or so before, I had convinced myself he was right by doing a service mental inventory of my life. It all made sense to me. The low moments, the confusing moments, my growing loneliness, my noticeable differences from others, my pursuit of the truth were areas I had been overthinking. I was convinced he was right, but now in front of me was the truth." So yeah, loneliness, the reason why I highlighted that bit was about the loneliness and having the noticeable differences. Being autistic, you are noticeably different from others, and the problem is with that people will use that as a weakness to target you or to target us in the autism community, and that really does frustrate me no end, because when you are somebody who is autistic and you're diagnosed later on in life, we've learned to successfully mask for so long, and we've learned to put up this defense for so long that people often thought, "Oh well, you know, she's not struggling, she can't be really, you know, in her own head, or she can't be suffering, or her life's not bad, her life must be so good." And it's not, because we are so lonely and we are so isolated from others, which people don't really understand. Because when you are lonely, it's like every little ticking thought in our heads goes over and over and over and over again, and it's like we have to constantly have the pursuit of going, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine," and actually we're not. And we are, again, like she says, the pursuit of the truth, where in areas where she was hiding. You know, that's another thing we do. We do hide, we do mimic, we do mask, and we are people who like the truth. We are very logical. We're all about the truth, order, statistics, facts. You know, everything has to be evidence-based. And again, I relate to her for that, because I am someone who is autistic. I am someone who's about logic, truth, order, structure, routine. Like, I need to have that balance of the truth, my truth, what I've gone through as an autistic woman is different to what Melanie's gone through. True, that's absolutely true. Not all autistic people are the same, but again, a lot of autistic women will have the same traits, same behaviours, same thoughts, same loneliness patterns, etc. So for me, I do get lonely sometimes. It's more in the evening when I'm here on my own that I start getting the negative thoughts, where I'm like, oh, this sucks, I'm on my own. Oh, I'm not going out today, I'm not seeing my dad, or I'm not going to see Andy Otley, or I'm not going to see Adam Thomas, or my sister, or my mum. You know, I get them little lone thoughts going, oh, what am I going to do tonight? Oh, that sucks. Oh, you're on your own. Oh, no one wants to talk to you. No one wants you around their house. You know, them little niggle thoughts that come into your head, you know, it intensifies the loneliness by 10 times. Even though it probably isn't that bad, but in my head, it's 10 times, even more 15 more times heightened, because they are the constant thoughts. You can't break away from them. You can't separate them. So that's another reason I wanted to talk about that. And then she goes on to say about not long after her diagnosis of autism and ADHD, which lifted the lid on my life and forced me to return to the beginning. The unlocking of why that my diagnosis afforded me enabled me to drop my guard in a way that was natural, but that culminated in a nervous breakdown. I was caught in a twist and it broke every psychological bone in my body, wrung me out and ripped me apart, emotionally leaving me fetal like on the floor. So basically, again, she's talking about the kind of mental breakdown, the depressive episodes. You know, we go through emotions, our emotions we don't really psychologically assess till we're in that feeling or in that state, and it can be very difficult for us autistic females who are in that emotion, in that feeling, in that depth, in that loneliness. Again, it comes back to the loneliness of the last paragraph that I was talking about. And then she says, coming to terms with who I was and having an explanation for many of my decisions and behaviours over my life was also freeing, but also left me stripped back and vulnerable. It shot me back to life, embracing a new, more authentic me and more authentic experience. So again, it's finding who we are later on in life, finding our ground, finding our place, finding our people, finding our purpose, finding out who we are regardless of our autism or other comorbid conditions. Like she says, she has ADHD. I believe now she's also got a diagnosis of Tourette's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that she is getting diagnosed or has received the diagnosis of that. Being more authentic as well, I relate to her because I've had so much opportunity to be authentic, my authentic self. I've been able to go onto radio and talk to counsellors and politicians, and you know, I've been able to get my story out there, my journey of what it is like for me as an autistic woman to live in the UK. And I know that Melanie Sykes is also in the UK as well. So, you know, and then she goes on to say, the book comes directly from her gaping wound, and writing about her own personal journey has helped her. She wrote to a question on her phone from a friend: what is the definition of success? This again is another area that I highlighted I want to touch upon. Success is what I've made it. Success is me doing advocacy for people, going to do talks for my local hospital, mental health trust, my local adult autism diagnostic service, helping out with the diagnostic support groups, going to pubs and social groups and being able to advocate my needs, advocate what I need for myself to succeed. Going to my local radio station, going to my local Elvis concerts and being able to advocate what I need when I'm there, how he looks after me, how my Elvis friends look after me with regards to my autism. They see Gemma as Gemma, they don't see the autism label, but they know that if I have a panic attack, or if they know I have a social overwhelm or a sensory overwhelm, or I start getting really fidgety and anxious, they know how to nip that in the bud. They know to go, okay Gemma, take a breath, take a breather, go outside, take a breath, take a walk, like go outside, count to 10 in your head, like, you know, they do things to help me self-soothe and to self-regulate again, so that I can come back into that environment and go, okay, you know. So I get that success is what I've made it, what my friends have made it, what my family have made it for me, and having that routine, that structure, having my best friend as well. Sorry, I know Bessie, I should have mentioned you a bit sooner, but having my best friend in my support network, having my family, having my Elvis community, my Adam Thomas community, you know, I have a lot of people who have my back and they support me. So being in control of my success is my future. It's what I do. I take the steps to make it successful. And then she says, success is being centered enough to know what I want, finding a comfortable way to achieve it, and most importantly, knowing that I am worthy enough to get it. Them words there are so powerful by themselves and such a deep effect. Knowing that I am worthy enough to get it. Knowing that you're worthy. That's the thing I've struggled with. My self-worth in myself over the years has been abhorrent. Like, I have struggled like nobody's business to get my self-worth and my self-confidence up. I've always had quite low self-esteem in myself. I've always been someone who's doubted her ability and gone, maybe not, maybe they don't want to hear my thoughts on this and this and this and this. Maybe I'm not good enough to raise a profile of autism. Maybe they don't want to hear my thoughts on disability. Gemma, maybe you should probably just shh. But I've built myself up to be worthy and accepted and acknowledged and valued and respected because I know that I am worthy. I know my voice is worthy of being listened to. My autism journey is going to help someone, is going to inspire someone, is going to change someone who may be going through the process of autism diagnosis or assessment, knowing that they are going to face these kind of hurdles sometimes. And that's okay. That's fine. But again, knowing that you're worthy to raise a profile, knowing that you're worthy to tell your journey, your story, is incredibly powerful. And I love that Mel has said that because I think she's really opened the profile up, the destination for many autistic people to have their voices. And for me, having my diagnosis in such later life like Melanie has, it's opened up so many opportunities, and I've learned to be who I am and what I'm about and what I've had to go through to accept myself and accept what my autism means for me, my limitations, my strengths, my weaknesses, things that I still need to tweak and work on to make it better for me. But again, it's because we are often vulnerable, like Mel has said, being vulnerable and sharing them successes, them strengths and weaknesses with people makes us who we are, And like success again is my journey. It's something that I'm going to be forever working on. It's going to be a constant ride, a constant loop of moving forward. So again, that's another thing I wanted to agree with her with on that. Again, then when she says this bit here, at the age of 51, I had been handed the missing piece of a complex and intricate jigsaw that was my life. I felt like I had won the lottery. It was a validation and a huge gift. I finally could start to forgive myself for all my mistakes, all my pain and baffling episodes that had new meaning. I was grateful. I was happy and relieved, and I could not wait to tell everyone. I rang my parents, then took to my social media to tell everyone else. It was a celebration. But I knew that this was just the tip of the iceberg, and I knew I had work to do. Now I have to dissect my life in more detail, and to do that, I have to go back to the beginning. I cannot agree strongly more with this statement. Oh my God, can I? Oh yes. Oh, absolutely hell yes. Having that complex journey and that intricate pieces that finally click together in your life, that there is finally no gaps as to why you felt weird or odd, or people called you a geek or a nerd, or said, oh, why is she so awkward? Why is she so rude? Why is she so blunt? Why does she interrupt all the time? Like, why can't she give me eye contact? What's wrong with her? Why is she strange? Things like that is a validation, because it's like, well, yes, I've always been off my eye contact. I've always been a bit, geeky, nerdy. I love things like books. I love watching movies. I love to research everything about the characters, the storyline, the plot. I need to know. I need to know that validation. What's going to happen, when, where, what people that I'm with, the right people that need to be put in my circle, the right people who are going to help me move on in my journey, the people who are going to progress me rather than hold me back. So again, when she says that she can forgive herself for her mistakes and all the pain, we don't need to forgive ourselves because we've got nothing to forgive. We have to accept who we are, and society should forgive us for being a neurodiverse person. Society should fit to us and help be more accessible to us because society is the ones that hold us back. Society should be the ones that forgive our mistakes, forgive our burdens, forgive things that we may have done, said, the way we've dressed, etc. But I can agree with her when she says she is grateful, life has a new meaning, that she's relieved, that she couldn't wait to tell everybody. I kind of had a difficult journey there myself. I was very much aware that I had a massive struggle for the first few weeks. I was very angry, very bitter, very resentful about it. I was like, nope, not interested, don't want to talk about it. Nope. And then it took me a few weeks to calm down and go, actually, hold on. So I've gone from being the most bitter, angry, disrespectful, didn't want to know, wasn't interested in knowing about my autism, just had the document, a piece of paper to say, hey, this is what autism, you've got high functioning autism, this is what you've got to do, this is what it means, and steps to help you in employment and social care support and different things like that. Again, I turned it on its head and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I use this for my strength? Why don't I use it for my good and go, hey, this is something you should be proud of, Gemma. You are autistic, you are neurodiverse, you are different. You have been different all your life. It's not just been now because you've got the diagnostic label on your head. You are autistic, you were born autistic, you are seeing the world differently, you see the world different from other people. That's brilliant, that's cool, that's amazing. And autism is my gift. I see it as a gift. It's a blessing. It's helped me no end. It's given me the position to speak to people, empower who I thought I would have no chance of ever getting to speak to. So again, this is something that I know I've had to search for through my life. I still have to go on questions going, hold on, Gemma, can you do this? Can you do that? Yes, I can. Absolutely, hell yes. And so can you. Like, for me, autism, my diagnosis was a relief. It was a missing part of my life. It was a missing part of why wasn't I succeeding? Why couldn't I do things? Why couldn't I act the same way as others? Why couldn't I just fit in and be normal? But normal does not exist because normal is a government label that they want us to conform, and I don't conform. I'm very much do what I want when I want to do it, not when people tell me to do it. So again, I've had the last 12, 13 years to find my feet, to find myself, to find my purpose. And Mel is absolutely right when she says that we have to go back to the beginning sometimes and still go on that journey of helping ourselves. Absolutely right. And then the final bit I wanted to talk about here, I will read the paragraph that I've highlighted here. And she says, I was so naive, and it was pure naivety. I did not understand until I finally got my recent diagnosis. I always see the good in people, understand their pain, and value theirs more than mine, which is a pattern of behaviour I have only recently absorbed for what it is. It is a dangerous cocktail of extreme empathy and lack of self-worth, which makes me a sitting duck for predatory narcissists. Oh, yes, do I believe it. Oh, yes, I do. I've gone through exactly the same thing when it comes to YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. I've been ganged up upon, I've been sent nasty messages, I've had people who have wanted to take advantage of me and used things like call me a spaz and other stuff like that, and we are targets for predators. Unfortunately, because they see autism as a weakness rather than a strength, they think, oh well, I can get away with calling her a R-word or a spaz or thick as shit, or they'll say things that are hurtful and that we, unfortunately, because we don't sometimes take care of ourselves, we fall short of self-empathy and self-care, self-love, and I think that's a shame, and I think we are getting better at it, but still we are hitting targets for predators, social media keyboard warriors, people in public, in the human eye, who have powerful jobs can sometimes get away with it. And I think if we don't start taking care of ourselves as a whole, we are going to become more of a sitting target. And unfortunately, I don't see this changing until we say enough is enough. But unfortunately, it's going to take a lot more than just one or two of us to do that. So yeah, I think that is all I wanted to say, and I will link her book down below in the social media description. And thank you for watching. Bye!